We're live. I'm as nervous as all hell for this one. So, the title for this one is Learning to Own Our Shame Stories. And why I'm as nervous as hell is that I'm going to speak to some of my own personal shame stories. So stay tuned for some, dirt on Andrea Martel, Joyce Hinders. I'm about to give it all. Uh, so let me play with this. All right. So this is a quantum leap move for myself. Um, I used to be someone that would hold everything in, not share, and basically, that was through a whole bunch of limiting beliefs that I had, was holding about whether or not whether I was even worthy of, being a person on this planet. Like it's pretty hardcore. Gradually over the years, with all the things that I've done, I've been more and more open to sharing who I am as a person. But yeah, coming from, being basically, having no voice, not knowing who I was to even be able to share that. So this is just showing how far I've come, I guess, in so many instances. And yeah, that came from so many places: not feeling safe to share, not feeling worthy of sharing, not feeling valuable in myself. Okay, so now where I'm at is, sharing more vulnerably, not holding back, on what's important to me, regardless of whether there's negative consequences or not of me sharing those things. A good example of this would be just last week I was at work having a conversation with a lady, and we were talking about cervical orgasms, and I was just giggling to myself as we're having this conversation, just going, oh my god, I can't believe, this is the depth of conversation that I am now capable of having, even in a non-private sort of environment. So, this deep, authentic sharing and relating is so valuable and rewarding, and full expression of self is something that I am fully desiring, and that's something that I've definitely made some massive moves in of late. So now for the confession time. So sharing our shame stories. I'll get to shame and why very shortly, but before I do, let's go to the explicit confessions component. So some of my shame stories, things that I feel bad about, perhaps don't want the world knowing about, worrying about how these stories will make me be perceived. But the truth is that the most important acceptance needs to come from myself. People will think what they will think. I can't control people's judgments, perceptions, their biases. We all have them. We are all doing it 100% of the time. And so the only person's opinion that is of the utmost importance is my own. And so I can share these now because there's a certain level of self-acceptance that I have acquired through doing these sort of things. So yeah, confessions. Cheating on a past boyfriend. No, it wasn't Luke, just in case anyone's asking. Shoplifting. Admittedly, it was just a 20-cent, probably not even, it's probably worth $1 now, a little dandy candy packet. Actually, it's probably worth about $10 with today's inflation, to be fair. Hating on some of my closest friends on their choices or particular parts of their behavior or personality. So what I'm referring to there is the part of me that's quite frankly a two-faced, judgy little bitch. She's real. She's there. She's a part of me. Yeah, I'm not going to sit there and justify all these. It kind of gets away from the point of doing these shame sharings. Cyber stalking ex-friends, basically seeking evidence that still supports that they're still who they are, so I can have that, superiority feeling of why we're no longer friends. If anyone's aware of the drama triangle, just insert that right there. We like to villainize the people that we don't see eye to eye with anymore in our lives. Child innocence activities, so doing a poo in the sandpit at home because walking all the way up to the house just seemed too laborious. Playing sexy times with other young innocents when I was young. I viewed this through my adult eyes and held so much tight shame around it, and it took a sharing this at a workshop with 20 other women who held the space really well for me to just realize the innocence behind what was going on. We were kids. It was fine. There was nothing wrong. There was nothing deviant or evil about it. But that's how it was being held in my system, and so releasing that was a godsend. Yeah. Experiencing pleasure through others' pain and misfortune, not strongly, but in the past. Aspects when you see, someone that maybe you've put on a pedestal, find out that, oh my God, they're human and they have flaws as well, and then feeling again that level of superiority with seeing someone else not do well. It's not attractive. These are called shame files for a reason. What else? Blocking friends without speaking to the cause of that through social media. Basically avoiding unpleasant conversations through doing that process. Being able to meet my work obligations well within expectations, and then being able to use that time that I've saved to do other things, doing my own thing. Hacking or spying into ex-boyfriends' emails well after the relationship is up. Okay, and admittedly that one's a long time ago. Hiding the evidence of binging on Nutella or any other unhealthy, sugary, high-processed carb treat. Happy to say that I'm made some progress in this. It's not something I haven't done in quite some time. Lying about the aforementioned binge when partner identifies missing Malteser packet. I've never come clean about this to anyone, as I went really hard denying the fact at the time. Someone tell Luke that I'm sorry. Dialing 000 and prank calling from a public phone. Okay, and again, I feel really bad about this one. Prank dialing a cute guy at school and hanging up as soon as someone answers. How good was life before caller ID? Sneaking a scan of browser history of my partner in anticipation of something illicit that I can get into a tizzy and then feel really victimized about. All right, so that's my shame stories. That was a very quick 20-minute brain dump. I did come up with more afterwards. So it's there's plenty more dirt, but I thought I'll just keep it to that first initial brainstorm. All right. So, why the hell would I be sharing my dirt, my shame stories, the things that I'm most embarrassed, guilty, you know, that bring, basically, you know, just airing my dirty laundry, putting my skeletons out. First of all, we're human. We've got this disease to society, particularly exacerbated a millionfold by social media, where we hashtag share our best life only. We delete the photos that don't look good, or we untag ourselves. We only post when, we're doing awesome, fun, hashtag best life things. And so what we then start to see when we go onto social media is a complete distortion of reality. We're not seeing people's stress, anxiety, depression, their unpleasant emotions, their shitty relationships, their crappy jobs. We're only seeing like the side of ourselves that we want to be seen, and unfortunately it's going a long way through exacerbating people's expectations about how they want their life to be. And when we're not meeting those expectations and we're falling short, then that also then sparks off a whole range of unpleasant emotions. So it's highlighting our humanness. Okay, I'm not doing this all totally for everyone else's benefit. Okay, what we aren't willing to own owns us. Okay, so what we're not yet willing to own in ourselves or reveal, or at least own up to ourselves, okay, creates that dense energy vortex that I refer to. It's like the sneaky hidden agenda of, all right, there's this part of me I don't want people to know about, and what that does is it festers. Okay, it plays out in unconscious ways. When someone says stuff and then they behave in the opposite way, there's no doubt some dense energy vortexes there that are in behind running the show. Okay, so when we deal with our shame stories, is they stop owning us. They stop holding the energy of us trying to hide them away. It's like, oh, okay, there's a part of me. I'm not proud of these stories. I'm not proud of the things that I did. However, I take responsibility for that. Okay. So in regards to coming up with your own shame stories, kindness and compassion towards self is paramount and key. Okay, hold both frames. I'm innocent. Okay, I did it because I didn't know better. I didn't have other choices available to me, and I'm innocent, and I take responsibility for what happens now. Okay. Owning these past incidents allows us to see the misalignment, and so now I can choose to rectify as opposed to reacting from my shameful shadow self that's still running the show. Okay, if I'm still making crap decisions or behaviors and actions, it's because there's a hurt self, there's a hurt hidden shadow self that's hidden away, that's still reacting instead of responding. The common phrase I often refer to is that hurt people hurt people. If I've got a lot of shame that I'm trying to squirrel away and hide away, then that's going to play out in ways, and it's going to be unconsciously running the show. So airing these dense energy vortexes, that takes them down. Okay. One thing to note, I'm only sharing what's fully mine to share, Okay, be careful of what you share that also is revealing other people's or involving other people. Okay, you probably want to get their permission or have that conversation. Create awareness around our shame stories, and so we don't necessarily have to share them. Certainly don't recommend everyone get on and do a Facebook Live. I'll tell you tomorrow whether I feel that's a good idea or not. So we don't necessarily have to share them to own them. Okay, if you are going to share them, pick your audience. Okay, the key is to maintain your safety, and you don't want to run the risk of basically traumatizing yourself through that. That's where finding an unbiased person like a counselor or psychologist can be really beneficial. Okay, ensuring that the person that you're sharing to has the capacity to hold you through the discomfort of being seen in some pretty deep vulnerability. So shame, once brought to light, can kick off a number of unpleasant feelings from it. So for example, I've just shared, the 20-minute brain dump that I came up with. The nerves have gone. I've shared it. On more thorough reflection of this afternoon, I might have the vulnerability hangover, as Brene Brown refers to it, come up, where you're like, oh shit, what have I done? Oh my god, I better go delete that video and make it go away. That might happen. I'd like to think that I am comfortable enough with what I've divulged. Anyway, it is what it is. This is the human side, right? If I share something, there's potential to have that vulnerability hangover, the regret of, oh my god, I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have shared it. That might come back and bite me. Or it could easily kick you off into a full, even just admitting it to yourself and creating awareness around it can kick you off into the grief cycle. Okay, anger, sadness, fear, all of that can potentially rise as we're owning it. We're actually acknowledging that a part of us has had that experience. Yeah. So with whatever comes up after admitting our shame story is to allow the feelings and work with the feelings. Okay, allow them to actually be fully expressed and processed. If you need to punch into a pillow, scream in the ocean, personal favourite, allow the tears, let them be, allow it. By fully processing this, then freedom exists on the other side. Okay, then the ability for that to have totally transmuted, for the dense energy to have totally shifted, and we get to get on with our life without having these shame stories secretly running the show. So is working with our shame stories useful? Yes, absolutely. Is it easy? Hell no. Hell no. It's called the work for a reason. Okay. However, what I would suggest is be open to the feelings, all the unpleasant ones. Develop some level of competency around that, perhaps before digging around your shame story. So what I would recommend, if you haven't done any feelings work, jump into the guides in the Joyfully group. There is a whole chapter and a whole range of videos to do with processing feelings and emotions, and there's a lot of good stuff in there. All right. Done it. Oh my god. It was great. Over time, with processing, both feeling the positive feelings and the unpleasant ones, is that there's a level of enjoyment that comes through working through and facing the unpleasant ones. So even though the nerves were there, the turmoil was there with knowing that I was going to make my shame stories public, yeah, I'm quite joyful now. It's done. And yeah, there's been a fair bit of processing gone on in the background in order for me to get to the stage where it's like, you know what, I'm okay. I'm okay to make these parts, these dirty little secret parts known about me in a public forum. Yeah, like a social media live in a public group. All right, 21 minutes. That's probably double what I was hoping. I'm definitely working on keeping these a bit more punchier and shorter and getting to the point a bit quicker. So that's also stretching me and putting me outside my comfort zone. So thank you for listening. If you need any support, guidance, or you need someone to bear witness to your own shame stories, please, as I said, reach out, ask questions. You can just private message, it doesn't have to go on the public forum, and I'm more than happy to help you out wherever possible. All right, happy Tuesday, everyone. Thanks for listening.